So I have now reviewed and ranked all 11 Star Wars films, and I'm gonna be having a couple top 10 lists to fill out the rest of Star Wars month. Today I'm doing my top 10 favorite anti-heroes in Star Wars, and I'm gonna be completely honest, this was a very tough list to put together because there's not many characters that I personally would consider an anti-hero in Star Wars. Star Wars is a lot less gray area than I originally thought. So I had to grasp at some straws to select some people on this list. And two of the entries on this list will show up on another list later on. But let's just go ahead and get into it with number 10, and this is a character I really didn't know much about until recently, and that is a character called Mr. Bones. He's a B-1 battle droid who is repurposed by Snap Wexley of sequel trilogy fame, basically to help him on whatever he's doing, and he gains a really twisted sense of humor. And he's not fully evil, but because of his twisted sense of humor, he's kind of like a Deadpool type droid, so I put him on the anti-hero list. I found out about him, funny enough, through the new Lego Star Wars game. He's an unlockable character. And then I went ahead and looked into him because he seemed interesting, and he's actually a very interesting character. Look into him if you've never heard of him. At number 9 is a character that I had to grasp at straws to put on this list, but I'm going to put Asajj Ventress on this list at number 9. And yes, she starts out as a villain in Clone Wars, but near the later seasons of this series, Count Dooku does betray her, and she doesn't become an ally to the Republic or the Jedi, but she's also not a villain anymore. She basically fights whoever gets in her way, whether they're good or bad. She helps Ahsoka in a few episodes in season 4 or 5, I don't quite remember. It was the arc where Ahsoka was framed for murder. She helps her throughout that arc, so I put her on this list at number 9. Number 8 is a character who has only appeared twice so far. I hope we see him again later on in Mandalorian Season 3, and that is the character of Mayfeld, played by Bill Burr. And this character was more of an antagonist in the first season of Mandalorian, but he did come around and help Mandalorian in Season 2 to, after Grogu was kidnapped by Moff Gideon. I just really like the smart-ass attitude he has. He's real snappy, like Bill Burr is in real life, and as one of my friends says, the existence of this character basically confirms the existence of a Space Brooklyn, and I would love to see that Space Brooklyn, a bunch of Mayfelds running around. He's funny, he's entertaining, and he's at number 8. Number 7 is another character who I was introduced to through The Mandalorian, and that is Finnick Shand, Boba Fett's partner in crime. And yeah, she was an antagonist in the first season of Mandalorian for like one episode, but she shows back up in season 2, helping Boba Fett, who is helping Mandalorian after Grogu is kidnapped. And also she has like 2 episodes in the Bad Batch, and it was really nice to see her in there. And Ming-Na Wen is absolutely terrific as this character. She's completely badass. I just love the silent killer type that she has going on, and I really love the chemistry she has with Tamora Morrison as Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett. And I just really love this character. I hope to see more of her in the future. Number 6 is another entry I had to grasp at straws for, but it's going to be Saul Guerrero. and he was introduced in Clone Wars, but he was also in a couple episodes of Rebels, and also he was in Rogue One, which is the main thing I remember him from. Obviously, I saw him first in Clone Wars, but Rogue One is where I fully remember him from, and I just really like this character. He's not given much to do in Rogue One, but watch his arc in the Clone Wars and the episodes of Rebels that he's in. He's actually a very, very fun character. He's basically like the Punisher of Star Wars, and that's what makes him fun. Forrest Whitaker is great in the few minutes he has in Rogue One. I just really like the ending that they wrote for the character in that movie, and so he's at number 6. Number 5, yet another one I kind of had to grasp at straws for, is Bo-Katan Kryze from The Mandalorian, and before that, The Clone Wars. I also really love this character. Katie Sackhoff is terrific in the role, and I put her on this list simply because she does have a few episodes of The Clone Wars where she is more of an antagonist, and she's working with the Night Watch, I think it is. It's more of a Mandalorian terrorist organization led by Pre Vizsla, who is a villain. But she does take on more of a heroic role in Mandalorian Season 2. I don't know where they're going to go with this character. Some people think she's probably going to be a villain in Season 3 of Mandalorian. I hope not. I hope she stays in that gray area where she's not fully a hero but not fully a villain. An anti-hero, which is why she's on this list. She's really cool. I just love the look of her armor. It's really awesome. So she's here at number 5. Number 4 is a character that would have been on the villain list had it not been for some recent stuff, and that is Boba Fett. I love Boba Fett. I thought he was just cool in the original trilogy where he was a straight up villain in those. But he completely redeemed himself with his appearance in Season 2 of Mandalorian. And unpopular opinion, I actually really like the way they did the character in Book of Boba Fett. I thought it was a really interesting look at the character as this older man who's reflecting on his violent past, trying to be better. And that's why he's in the anti-hero list, because he's not a villain. He's a bounty hunter who mainly worked for the Empire, but later in life does try to atone for some of the questionable things he did in his time as a bounty hunter for the Empire. And I just love the way Tamora Morrison plays this character, so he's sitting here at number 4. Number 3 is a character that I really had to confirm with a couple people if I was crazy for putting him on here, because he doesn't really fall into any camp whatsoever, and that's going to be Hondo Onaka. And I really, really love this character. He's probably one of the greatest Star Wars characters ever created. Obviously, he was introduced in the Clone Wars, and he actually has some of the best episodes in that series. I love every episode Hondo shows up in. He's funny. He's also menacing when he can be. He's basically the Jack Sparrow of Star Wars. He's a space pirate, and I just really love his chemistry with Obi-Wan, how he sees Obi-Wan as his best friend of all time, and I just really love this character. I really hope we see him in live action somewhere down the road. I don't know where. Maybe the Obi-Wan series, maybe Mando Season 3, Season 2 of Book of Boba Fett. Who knows at this point? I just really hope we see him somewhere. And number 2 was kind of a odd choice for me, but I will have to put Han Solo on this list as well. Yes, he helps the rebellion, but he's still a scoundrel smuggler at heart who was really only out for himself. up until the very end of the original trilogy. After they rescue him from Jabba, that's when he basically changes to, okay, I'm full-time with the rebellion now. And yes, he does go out a hero, but he does start out as an anti-hero, and I just love this character overall. I talked about my love for this character multiple times throughout the reviews, so I'm not going to talk about him a whole bunch. But I love both versions, the Alden Ehrenreich version and the Harrison Ford version. They both played the character terrifically. So he's here at the runner-up spot. And number one is another character that I kind of just have to put on this spot. You will see him again in another video, but I'm going to put Lando Calrissian at number one. First of all, he's my favorite Star Wars character of all time, so obviously he's my favorite Star Wars anti-hero. And I put him at number one because, once again, like Han Solo, up until Return of the Jedi, he was basically an anti-hero. He sold out Han and Leia and Chewbacca and C-3PO to the Empire to save his own skin. And then he turns and helps Leia, Chewbacca, C-3PO, and R2 escape from Cloud City. And if that isn't anti-hero behavior, I don't know what is, because he's definitely an anti-hero in my opinion. And also the scoundrel behavior that he emits in the Solo prequel movie, also definitely an anti-hero in that movie. And once again, he will show up on another list down the road. I think it's coming out later this week, but easily Lando Calrissian, number one. So that was my picks for my top 10 favorite Star Wars anti-heroes. I was really having a hard time putting together 10 anti-heroes, which is why there were no honorable mentions, because I could barely squeeze out 10. But let me know what your favorite Star Wars anti-hero is down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.